In northern Nevada, in a stretch of desert that already feels like another planet, there's a site that looks like a special effect left running by accident. A steaming cone rising from the ground, painted in violent reds and toxic greens, spraying hot water into dry air like the earth is bleeding color. This is Fly Geyser. And when you first see it, the question hits instantly, because your brain refuses to file it as natural, real or not. Fly Geyser sits near the edge of the Black Rock Desert, not far from the tiny town of Gerlach, in a region shaped by heat below the surface and emptiness above it. The landscape around it is flat, open and harsh. Salt, dust, wind, and long distances with very little to break the horizon. That matters, because in a place like this, anything alive looks impossible. And Fly Geyser doesn't just look alive. It looks like something growing, layer by layer, like the ground is building an organism out of stone. Here's the first mind-blowing truth. This alien geyser wasn't discovered by nature lovers. It was triggered by human drilling. A well was drilled in this geothermal area, and instead of sealing the system back the way it was, the pressure found a new path upward. Over time, hot water kept rising, kept spilling, kept depositing minerals, building a cone the way a slow volcano builds a mountain. The second mind-blowing detail is that the shape isn't carved by wind or sand. It's constructed by chemistry. Each surge of hot mineral-rich water leaves behind tiny layers of minerals that harden, stack, and thicken, turning spray into architecture. The science underneath it is brutal and beautiful. Deep below, groundwater is heated by geothermal energy, becoming hot enough to dissolve and carry minerals. As that water rises and meets cooler air, pressure and temperature change, and minerals that were invisible in solution begin to drop out, crystallizing onto every surface they touch. This is how mineral terraces and geyser cones form, not by explosion, but by repetition. Again and again, the same process coats the same edges, slowly shaping the flow into a structure. It's patient construction. And it doesn't stop because it has no reason to. Now look at the colors, because that's the part that makes people swear this can't be real. The reds, oranges, and greens aren't paint. They're chemistry plus life. Minerals stain the rock, iron compounds pushing the palate toward rust and blood, and heat-loving microbes can thrive where almost nothing else can. In the warm, wet areas around the vent, certain microorganisms can form mats that tint the surface in strange gradients, turning stone into something that looks biological. That's the third mind-blowing fact. What you're seeing is not just geology, it's a living layer clinging to heat, feeding on conditions that would kill most life. The fourth mind-blowing detail is how the place behaves like a machine with moods. Sometimes the spray is stronger, sometimes weaker, but the system keeps breathing. Steam drifting, water hissing, mineral crust growing, colors brightening where wetness stays. The fifth is how wrong your sense of scale becomes. Photos can make Fly Geyser look small and harmless, like a decorative fountain. But standing near it, the heat, the smell of minerals, the constant wet hiss, and the unnatural color make it feel close to forbidden. And the sixth is the way the desert amplifies everything. In a crowded forest, this would still be strange. In an empty Nevada basin, it feels like a signal. So here's the question that flips the story into something darker. If this place is partly human-made, what does that actually mean? Did we create a wonder? Or did we injure the Earth in a way that just happens to look beautiful? Because Fly Geyser is a reminder that drilling isn't always clean, and nature doesn't always heal in the way we imagine. Sometimes it adapts, Sometimes it repurposes the damage into a new phenomenon. It doesn't ask permission. It just uses whatever opening you give it. And the result can look like art, even when it began as a mistake. There's also a quiet danger in how seductive it is. People see the colors and want to get closer, to touch it, to stand in the spray for a dramatic shot. But this is geothermal water moving through mineral-rich pathways, and the surfaces around it can be fragile, hot, or chemically harsh. The crust may look solid, yet break under weight. The water may look clean, yet carry dissolved compounds you don't want on your skin. This isn't a theme park feature. It's a vent, a wound, a mouth. And in the desert, even small mistakes can become serious fast. The atmosphere is what turns it into horror documentary material. Steam rising against a pale sky. Wet mineral terraces gleaming like fresh tissue. Bright green patches that look almost fluorescent when the light hits. And all of it surrounded by quiet emptiness, where the only sound is wind and that constant hiss. It creates the feeling that you've walked into a place not meant to be seen for long. Like the Earth is doing something private here, something chemical, something alive, and you're an intruder watching it happen. Impact on modern life shows up in a way most people don't expect. Because Fly Geyser became a symbol of two things at once: how humans can accidentally reshape landscapes, and how quickly the internet can turn a remote anomaly into a global obsession. It's a case study in unintended consequences, drilling and water management decisions that create long-term environmental changes. And it's also a modern myth engine, fueling documentaries, viral clips, and, real or not, debates that spread faster than any physical travel could. A remote geothermal mistake becomes a worldwide image, and suddenly people build narratives around it. Alien, paranormal, secret, forbidden. That's modern life, science happening quietly, while stories explode loudly. And maybe that's why Fly Geyser lingers in the mind, because it's not purely natural and not purely artificial. It sits in the uncomfortable middle, where human action opens a door, and nature steps through it and builds something that looks impossible. If this place pulled you in, like this video and subscribe to Off the Map. And don't leave yet, because the next location looks even more unreal, but in a different way, like the ocean itself is disappearing. Next episode, Thor's Well, Oregon. Why does the ocean drain here? When you see water pouring into a hole that seems bottomless, you won't ask what's happening. You'll ask what's waiting underneath.